welcome back. Encountering the Unknown. Episode 11, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
First off, shout out to the world champ Philadelphia Eagles.
Go Birds.
So that was a great run and great playoffs and everything. And that was awesome. Let's have a repeat this coming year. So that was awesome. So congratulations. So this next episode is called The Bridge. So people that go to Gettysburg, they know about the Sach Bridge, where both the Confederate and Union troops had both went across that bridge. There's a lot of rumors and speculation of suicides at that bridge and hangings and a lot of things. So we're going to try and explain what Paul had seen there several times and with our friends. Try and make sense of all of it. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. So, first off, I also want to apologize for the long break in between episodes, but we're back.
So again, Paul Avedanian Jr. and Dr. Paul Avedanian. So welcome, and we hope you've been enjoying our other episodes. I mean, this is we think it's awesome stories because this is our real stories, and we hope you enjoy it.
So just to start off with this whole episode, I just want to do a quick recap of kind of one of our biggest stories at the bridge, and it was Bill's story, Bill Hansen, who we talked about and who he is and everything, and how he died at the bridge when he was running out of the woods when they were retreating, and then all of a sudden the Union group was moving behind him.
He was from Army of Northern Virginia, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And Chris, his best friend. So,
Yep. And they weren't the only ones. There were some other ones who were there with them while they were trying to get away, but then ultimately they did get gunned down around the bridge. Not exactly on the bridge, but around then. And also Daniel's whole thing was also a similar time frame during that whole thing. But something that's important when we've gone there, and even early on when I could communicate with them, I remember, I think it was you who asked me, since we knew Daniel was there, and then you have Confederate soldiers there, do they all get along? And then, remember, I told you, I was like, well, the thing is, some of them do get along. Some of them like Daniel. Bill and Daniel both met after they both died. So they never had any interaction before, but they were close in death time in the same area. Same with Chris, too, and same with some of the other ones there. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, one of the names of one of the spirits who didn't get along with Daniel, just because he was a slave, because he was black, that's ultimately the reason why this person was acting this way. I think his name was Jack. I'm pretty sure I remember that.
That wasn't the one who killed him, was it? Do you know?
No. It was one of the ones who was
in on it, at the time.
I think it was one of the ones who may have been in on it, but then one of the ones who got gunned down also right then by Union people or Union soldiers. But then, they talked about how Bill did not like this person because, he knew Daniel and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of weird to see that side of life,
that interaction after death.
That it's still, people are resentful and still, prejudice against other people for, stupid stuff. Which, I don't know. People are people, and you should just, base it off someone's character at the end of the day.
But thinking, you're thinking when we die we're all at peace and stuff. That's what
you
our
would
thought
think,
was.
But if you're bound,
True.
to the confines of the cemetery, as the prayer says, then I feel like there's a little bit of neutrality in what's going on, because it's almost like, you've moved an extra step somewhere. Now it's for you to decide, really. It's almost like another chance at, maybe you were racist while you were alive and now you're dead. Yeah. And now your whole thing to get to where you need to go is you need to come to terms with that.
Clean. Yeah.
And you need to
ask for forgiveness and just
stop doing that. Which that could be a reason why, some people are stuck where they are, hate in their hearts still, vengeful spirits. And, there's other reasons, though. People just don't know what happened to them. Car accidents, stuff like that.
Sudden death.
You thought you were alive, and all of a sudden you're like, why isn't, anything working? Why can no one hear
shot,
me?
Instantly killed.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so some of that's a little fuzzy. But then also how when we were there, a famous thing, the people do the cigarette on the little guardrail or whatever, the railing, and it spins around.
Yeah.
Which they did say some of them do mess with it, but they said don't call us Tennessee, because they always say there's a ghost named Tennessee here.
Yeah.
And they were like, nobody's name is Tennessee here, which whether that's true or not, I was just hearing this from most of them.
Yeah. So they came clean with you and said,
yeah.
So they were from mostly Army of Northern Virginia, I believe.
Yeah, I think they even said they didn't think anyone was from Tennessee.
Well, obviously in Gettysburg, the Tennessee Volunteers were there at Pickett's Charge. They have a nice monument for them there. But so they were just telling that, like to you, that they get annoyed.
Yeah.
And it's nice, and people can be respectful, obviously, and ask, hey, whoever this is, please, can you spin the cigarette? Because they will do it. Because you could see them spinning it.
Yeah,
right?
I think the one time, weren't we there when it started spinning? We were like, whoa, that's weird.
Which, a lot of the ghost tours go there too, and they ask these things too. But
I think even when I could see them, remember I was like, he said he's going to do it.
Wasn't he hunkered down? He was spinning it with his finger.
So I do remember that. But then, like I said, they do get upset, but usually they're just doing it just to see what people are going to do, see if people are freaked out or not. But it's all in good fun. That's fine. But at the bridge itself, when you walk across and when you stand in the middle, I remember my first feelings were like very heavy on my chest. I remember it didn't feel good, and I was like, ugh. Like, I feel like I'm stuck, kind of. And that was my immediate reaction. And the bridge is a little eerie looking from the outside when you pull up to it. I forget the road name.
I think Millersville Road. You just follow it down, and then it's over, I think, Marsh Creek. It's a covered bridge. It was there during the battle. It has since, it got damaged, washed away, and I think they rebuilt it in the 80s maybe. But it's a beautiful landscape around there, and the beautiful bridge. That was, we had many experiences there, but I mean, going from what you said, so initially, and like I didn't feel anything. I'd go stand in the middle, go across, get pictures. We were getting orbs. We'll put pictures on there too, somewhere in the episode of the bridge and some of the pictures.
Yeah.
When did you start? Because then you started seeing stuff at the bridge that wasn't,
good.
The spirits, correct?
Yeah. So, back in 2018, I forget exactly when. I think it was like cool enough that we still had sweatshirts and stuff on, or maybe some of us did. May have been like early fall, late summer, or even some other time. But I remember it was a trip in 2018, and we went with our friends Caitlin, Gary, and Tom. I don't think I'm leaving anyone out of that group for that night.
Right.
I think that was everyone. When we got to the bridge and everything, I remember it was like a weird feeling. This time it was like almost like the feeling that I felt was amplified everywhere, and I felt it before even going on the bridge. And I remember I was apprehensive to even go on. And then I remember seeing Bill and Daniel, I'm pretty sure, but it was Bill. He was on the other side, and he was yelling to stop. And I was like, oh, like what? So then he was yelling to stop. I remember Caitlin and I, we stayed on that side. Tom went across. Gary went across. I think you may have gone across.
I stayed.
You stayed? Okay.
Well, was that the time when we pulled up and they had the Ouija board on the bridge before that? I think so. Remember, people were on the bridge.
on the bridge.
Remember, we
There
knew
may have
something
been.
was up.
Oh
There was a
yeah,
lot
there
of
was a big group
yeah. There was
there,
a lot of people on there.
and they had the spirit boxes
Yeah.
and all the equipment, and they were like, "Yeah, we're getting these responses. They're kind of weird." I remember them. The lady said they were getting some weird responses, and then I guess I did go on the bridge a little bit.
Well, I remember you said, yeah, Daniel, and first you thought they were waving.
Yeah,
like
that's
they're
what
like,
I
stop,
thought. Yeah, and
don't
I
come
was
on the
like,
bridge. Because you're like, don't go on the bridge, Dad.
yeah.
Because then we're like, Gary, Tom, come back, come back. And I know
Wasn't too late.
Tom was snapping pictures.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and Caitlin stayed with us, I believe.
Yeah,
She was yelling
because
to
she
her
felt.
dad. So and Caitlin has abilities, which we'll talk about too at another point, or have her on sometime. But she's awesome. On Gary and Tom, obviously. And Tom was taking pictures.
Yeah, they were snapping
And you called
away.
them back, I think. You said, guys, get back here.
Yeah.
Get off the bridge. Don't stay in the middle.
And I remember after they were gone off the bridge, well, no, even when they were still on the bridge, I remember seeing the spirits. All of a sudden, they ran into the woods. They were gone.
Fast.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, where did they just go? And then there was just this big, like, black mist covering like the whole bridge, and it was just like this, like moving, almost like smoke kind of moving, but like fluctuating in and out, almost like another example would be like a beehive. If a beehive went crazy and was forming stuff, like how they do in the movies
like
or whatever.
Shape. Yeah.
So it was like that, and I was like, I remember I freaked out a little bit, and so did Caitlin, because I forget if she could see it, but she definitely felt that it was there, and we didn't know what it was. And the people who were on the bridge, they seemed unaffected by this. Like, they just were carrying on. But it was like, I couldn't even see the people on the bridge. I couldn't even see, like, the contents of the bridge anymore, because it was so dark and solid and moving, that it was just, like, kind of a freaky thing to see. And then we called everyone back, I remember, and then it started to, like...
I remember Tom was excited. He's like, I got all these pictures of, like, mist and stuff. And
we
we're
like,
bro, erase it. We said, erase it immediately. And,
yeah.
and then, like, we grabbed Gary, too, and I remember we actually said some prayers of protection to them.
I'm pretty sure, didn't we end it there? We ended that night there. We said
because it freaked us out.
Yeah, because
you were really freaked out.
Yeah. Can't even like describe that feeling completely. It wouldn't do it any
justice.
Any justice or any favors.
How upset you are. You're like, don't go on this bridge. Don't go on the bridge. And they telling you stop.
Yeah.
So then we left that night.
Right? Yeah, that was crazy. But then later, I forget how much longer it was. Probably like a week or a couple weeks after that. We'd return to the bridge. Now, this is when things take a turn, because we go there, and I see this big mass, like this huge, like 10 feet tall, or what I would think would be 10 feet tall. It was like touching the top of the bridge, and it had these super long, skinny arms.
Standing on the bridge, right?
Floating. It didn't. I didn't see any legs or anything. I saw like kind of like wispy smoke or something. There was like a cloakish. This sounds very like cliche and corny, like from the movies.
Well, describe.
There was like a cloak or like a hood, but it was like not like a hood. It was like almost like a smoky matter mist thing going on. And the face looked like a weird bone face. It didn't exactly look like a human face, bone structure, but it didn't look like anything I'd ever really seen.
And the arms were really long, not like normal arms.
No. These were like probably like, I don't even know, like 6 feet or somewhere around there, 7 feet.
Yeah.
And this thing was just like moving like this, like not fast. It was very slow, but it was just like going like this on the bridge. Like going around people.
What eyes looks like? What the eyes look like?
They will, like it was a skeleton, but it was like black in there.
Okay.
So it was like, I mean.
Was it looking like, could it see you, or no?
It didn't seem to like really concern itself with us.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, it was like someone had hit me with something, and I was just like that's not good. That is not good. So then multiple times we'd go after that occurrence. We'd go and I'd feel it. I could feel it from like
before we got there, because you'd say it's there. I remember that. Then we turned around.
Yeah, because it was like such a heavy feeling, and it was just like your body almost was like paralyzed a little bit. So yeah, multiple times we had gone and we had to leave because of it. But then, thinking back, when we were in the yard, we were talking with Keith, who we've talked about, and he was like, he started telling us what this thing was. He called it a lurcher. And he was talking about how, like you and I were talking about before this, how it wasn't from Satan. It wasn't a spawn of that, but it was more like a manifestation of like death and stuff like that.
Carnage,
negativity, all that stuff. And he said there's like millions of them, or like they're not as rare as whatever you'd think. There's a bunch of them. And basically what they do is they like prey on people who are like really, really down.
Vulnerable. People, yeah, with mental and probably physical, issues, depression, suicidal thoughts or whatever. Because I remember, he said to you through you, but you said, it could make people kill themselves or others even.
Yeah, right? And that's chilling. That it could drive someone to do something like that.
Yeah.
And now we're not saying like if you have depression, you're automatically a target, but it does make it's almost like a scent. Like they can pick up on scents of people.
Your feelings. Yeah.
So that's really how to describe it. And at the end of the day, you just need to believe that, I might not be in the best spot right now, but things will get better. And I know that.
True.
You just gotta believe in that, believe in God, or believe in a God, one that you choose that represents, all good and all powerful, not something that's gonna bog you down and say, you need to cut your arm off for me, or some weird thing like that. Like no satanic worshiping, because those people, I mean, they think that they're untouchable by this stuff, but how many times has it turned on them? And it comes back to bite them over and over again. So you don't have control of these things. You can't, conjure something and say, you work for me. No, that's a whole different thing, and they do not abide by our rules.
Like we talked about doing a prayer of protection before you do anything, whether it's taking pictures with your phone or bringing a camera, a Ouija board, anything that's a portal. As you see on all the TV shows and stuff, it opens a portal till we don't even know what can come through there. So even in Gettysburg, obviously, all that carnage and death and destruction. So
just sets it up.
Yeah.
And I did do a drawing, a rough drawing. It kind of looks like a little kid version or simplified. I'm not an artist by any means. So I'll make sure to put that in now at this little time frame. But yeah, that was definitely a freaky thing. And then another time when we went, it was probably 2019, something like that, when we went with Michael.
Mm-hmm. A couple of my friends from work, some of the ladies that do IT work for our corporation. And that was, it was fairly warm because I think, like you said, I think it was like end of summer type. So yes, when we were back to the bridge, I believe it was summer, and when we pulled up and we started taking pictures near the bridge, there was black mist, right, just rolling across it was beautiful looking, right, a dark mist. A fog. It looked like fog. Remember, we're like, wow, check out the fog.
It was almost like mesmerizing. Yeah. Like you were just like staring at it, just like.
And it encompassed a lot of area though too. It was like a football field or whatever. Right?
It was just like everywhere. Yeah. Like it was weird.
we all were looking at it, and we were taking pictures. We were getting pictures of orbs. And
touch the
you touch the fog. No. But then what happened?
Then so we literally weren't there that long.
We got close to the bridge, like way up to the bridge where some people parked there, and then we noticed like the fog was actually coming towards us. Yeah. Which was, and we all saw this. Yeah. And there was cars parked, and all of a sudden this fog is rolling over a car, like, you know,
oh my gosh, it was so weird.
Vehicles, like, and then you couldn't see the car a little bit. Yeah. And it kept coming, and then you said, like, oh my God, I feel it in my chest. Yeah. This is from the bridge thing. Yeah, and that remember that?
Scary.
And then we were freaking the hell out.
Yeah, right? It was like, what the hell?
Because then you're like, we gotta say the prayer to stop this.
Yeah. That was the only thing I could think of. Just say it and be done.
But I remember at the time we hadn't memorized the exit prayer that we do. Because this was all new to us. Yeah. And I remember looking on my phone, I have it. And I remember we were starting to freak out a little bit, you know, and Michael too, right?
Well, we were all like, we could see it coming, and you were like, "Wait, I thought I had my favorites."
Yeah, and it was like the blob. It was like, I mean, it was unbelievable. Coming at us, and we finally found it. We said the prayer. What happened?
Then it was gone. It just like.
Then it actually dissipated and it was gone. So this, like you said, was actually from like. Whatever the bridge itself, I don't know.
Yeah, the bridge, I don't know. There's been stuff that definitely.
I don't think you saw the thing on the bridge that night.
No.
But this thing, so we're like, oh, check out this, you know, fog.
Because that was the whole reason why we were there. Because I was like, oh, it's not like here.
So it sort of like suckered us in. Yeah. We don't even know what that was going to do.
Yeah, I don't want to know what that was going to do. But that was weird. That was strange. And, you know, there's been things that have. I don't know, like, if there's been any documentation of stuff, but, like, things would just come to me when I was there, and I'd feel like, you know, I feel like someone's conjured something, and it felt like there had been more than one Ouija boards or rituals of some sorts, either in the woods or on the bridge itself, taking place, and maybe even some murders, or like they use it as a way to cover up some type of murders that have gone on there. So just a lot of nasty stuff there, which didn't start out that way, but you know, people, thrill seekers are like, oh yeah, you know, people have died here, so let's keep on going. And then there's
been some drownings there too, so they don't let you drown. There's a dam there, and there's a current. Yeah, from the creek, so they don't want you swimming. But I believe in the past, you know, the people have and committed suicide even. Yeah, you know,
that's crazy. But there is another being that claims that territory as well, and this does not go together nicely with the lurcher, because we kind of could feel that there was almost like a power struggle, but this thing ultimately has been there longer than the lurcher, is what we kind of gained from it. But I believe we talked about Vince and I seeing this winged creature that was tormenting the souls,
like a pterodactyl sort of kind of
and we both saw it. I remember.
Well, he said to you, didn't he? He's like, did you see that bird?
And I was like,
whatever, that giant thing flying?
That pterodactyl thing.
You know? Vince can see it too. I remember
that was scary. Yeah, no,
and
you could
abilities.
Hear like screeching or some type of weird noise. But then seeing like people who were dead be so frightened by something, that's like what am I dealing with?
That's in the now, in this realm of now, today. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, because I remember the Union and Confederate were working together.
You said they were hiding under cannons.
Yeah,
together,
they were doing
and they're looking at
whatever.
Guns,
yeah,
right. That's like it's crazy that now it's like they're sort of at peace, you know, because of this thing. They're against that thing, or that thing's against them.
Yeah,
is what we determined.
This thing it's almost like a weird humanoid winged creature. The closest thing I'd compare it to is for all you horror movie fans out there, Jeepers Creepers.
The first one, or no?
The
one with the bus.
It's the same one.
It's the same one.
Yeah,
well, it looks a little different.
Same creature.
Yeah.
but definitely
So
that second one.
the black wings, yeah.
Yeah, just
Fangs.
it didn't have the coat or the hat or the hair, but it's kind of similar to that
big?
look.
It's a big thing.
Oh yeah, it's big. I don't know how big, but it's big. I don't even know the size of it. But remember that one time when
we were with
there?
Gary, and we were there, and you're like, there it is. But it was a great horned owl that was flying in the air. It just scared you. I remember that. And I'm like, no, it's an owl. But,
yeah, no.
I mean, it really shook because we couldn't see it. Paul was the only one who could see it, but he was scared for his life when he saw that thing flying. Right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, and I'm not the only one that it's shown itself to, or people have seen it by accident, because I was able to also feel that this thing has shown itself to people almost as like an intimidation factor. Like, you step in my territory, you're playing by my rules. This is my home.
Domain.
Like,
it owns the bridge, right?
Yeah.
And you said it was there a long time. It wasn't like it was way before the battle of Gettysburg.
Yeah, no, it was
something evil.
That I don't know what would have conjured or called this thing up, or if it just existed. But it's there. It's definitely there.
And you saw it sitting on top of the bridge one time.
Yeah. Oh, that just freaked me out. Oh, that was so bad. Oh, yeah, no. Just perched on top.
And was it looking at you then, or no?
I think it was looking around, but it may have noticed. I think it was one of the times that there were a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So I felt a little better, but I mean, still not really. And it's almost like you don't tread on me, I won't tread on you kind of thing. But then I could tell that it almost was active, I feel like, because the lurcher was there. And it was almost like the lurcher was doing something, messing it up. And remember, we thought we could do a little damage to the lurcher or get rid of it, so we blessed the bridge with holy water.
With holy water. Probably not the brightest move that we've done.
Yeah, no. Because it sent this, whatever, I don't know if
the Jeepers Creepers thing went down?
It was the Jeepers Creepers thing, because that thing's, that's home, and it knew what to do exactly. So I feel like blessings have been done there before.
So we did the blessing. Then what did it do?
It went down into the ground. It was just like
took off.
It wasn't even like it was the humanoid winged creature identity that I was seeing. It was more like its presence just sunk into the ground, like it was rooted deep, deep, deep somewhere where it's coming from.
I know we were nervous about it.
Oh yeah, because that time there was like no one. It was just us.
Blessed holy water though, and the power of God and Jesus is massive and huge, obviously.
Yeah.
So I remember that. Being
that was
there,
crazy.
Like, do we do this? All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know what was going to happen. So you got to be careful when you're delving into some of this deep stuff.
We don't recommend doing any of this.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think no man or priest or pastor or preacher can do it by themselves.
Yeah, no, you need to have people of almost like all spiritual beliefs, like shaman, holy people, all that different people are gonna like sense it.
But what did you feel? So with that thing, which was way bigger, like in power than the lurcher, was that going after their souls? Is that do you think that's what that is? It almost seems like it's doing something with that, because it wasn't really preying on the living as much as it was preying on the dead. Right, I remember you saw what happened to one of those guys.
Yeah, the one missing his arm.
Yeah, behind Little Round Top.
And I remember I was like...
But you could hear it screaming
as
it was flying.
And I remember...
You'd say the thing is around.
Well, and not only the screams, but I could hear like the... like the sound of the wings.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's like... You can't shake that out of your memory easily. So that's a little frightening.
And remember, Paul was like 14 years young then, so
yeah,
when
it still freaked me out.
Stuff, right? And no wonder you were scared when the owl flew. too. And
I remember I probably screamed or did something.
Yeah.
It was like,
And you were telling us this info. It was amazing. The stuff that he would tell us.
Yeah.
And we have like video of us like interviewing you as we were just filming.
Yeah.
And recording at the time. We'll have to put some of those clips in, one of these. I say that every time, but we have them, so you can hear like how young your voice was. It was so funny.
No.
But I mean, to know this was raw truth. This is what you were telling us. It was, fright. I know you were really scared because only he could see it and hear it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was. I don't know. All of it's a lot.
It's like surreal.
And there's more. This isn't like the final talk about the bridge.
No.
It's heavily involved in our story. But we just wanted to, get you all back in, or well, we had to get back in too. So we were happy to jumpstart this, and hopefully we're gonna be more proactive with what we're doing, and just try and get as much content.
More investigations too.
And we'll be trying to do some other things that we're gonna work on. We're gonna keep it quiet for right now. So we're gonna try and do both, but we will let you know when. Thank you for everyone who's been watching and any new viewers. Hope you enjoyed these episodes, and just tune in for the next one.
Put some pictures on too of the bridge and
definitely.
Some of our, pics of the orbs with the faces, the soldiers. I don't think we ever got a picture of the lurcher or that other creature thing.
No. But I do have the drawing of the lurcher, so I will get that in there. All right, everyone.
God bless everybody.
Thank you. Take care.